Welcome to another episode of ConunDRUM with Dre. This week I sit down and talk with Kendra Gale from the Kendra Gale Band. She's also in the Galpines, The Fiery, You and Her, and solo work. So she's a full-time musician. She's based out of Moncton, originally from St. Andrews. She's ECMA, Music New Brunswick nominated. All of her albums are amazing. Her latest album, Kicking and Screaming. So do yourself a favor. Check out all of the links that I'm going to post to her social medias. Anyway, I don't want to babble on. We have a really good conversation, so we get into a lot of things. So there's a lot to digest. So cutting this short so we can get to the video. Enjoy. Hi, Mom.
And probably my mom too. Hi.
I've never met your mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know we've played a few shows, but never at like any of the big time festivals where she would have gone. Like I've never done the ECMA, so
Yeah, and she would be there
be there for sure.
doing all the business.
Business. Yeah. Cool. So let's get right into it then. So where are you originally from?
St. Andrews,
Yeah.
New Brunswick.
Okay. That's is it St. Andrews, New Brunswick, or is it St. Andrews by the Sea, New Brunswick?
St. Andrews by the Sea.
Yeah, I learned that a long
Whole
time
name.
ago. Yeah, the whole name. You have to say the whole thing. That's
I guess I can get rid of this. That's
what's that?
kind of creepy to have back there. I
No.
have like Twitch things. There's when you do Twitch, you can have there's channel points that people get while they watch you, and they can collect them and build them up to get certain things. So some of them are like this. Her name's Hatricia because she wears the hat, and they can make me wear the hat or the glasses for a few songs. Just silly things.
Yeah. No,
I
that's
also have
awesome.
my banjo.
That's not a banjo. It's a guitar.
It's a banjotar.
Oh, I've seen one of those. So basically, you play it like a guitar, but it sounds like a banjo.
Yeah, it's just a guitar with a banjo body.
So you don't have to like relearn the whole 4.5 string or
Yeah.
3.5 string.
Throw it at a guitar player and they can play it.
So you grew up in St. Andrews, not just from.
I did. Yeah.
So you're based in Moncton now.
I am. Yeah. I've only been here for 5 years.
Only?
Well, the rest of my life was in St. Andrews, so that just seems small. It's the only other place I've lived.
Okay. But you have toured all around the province and other outside of the province and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So do you come from a musical family?
I do. My brother is 12 years older than me, and he was always in bands and playing guitar and just playing everything. Mm-hmm. So that was, I was going to say that's growing up, like in the house, that was my biggest musical influence, but we weren't in the house together very long because he was 12 years older.
Right.
So it was like when I was really little, my grandparents played, but I didn't learn that until later on when I was already playing music. That my nan plays piano and Papa had like a little record and he played guitar, but I didn't know that growing up.
Right.
There was always records playing in the house though, and Mom and Dad would do dishes. They would be like blasting music from the living room so they could hear it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
and they all, like my brother, sister, Mom and Dad all listened to different music, and I listened to all of that music.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a mix of things.
So you're the youngest child?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm the same way. So I kind of had similar experience growing up with my brother would listen to, Sabbath and Motley Crue and all that stuff. And then my sister would listen to Corey Hart and Whitney Houston and all that stuff. So I kind of got the gamut from one end to the other. Parents are hardcore country.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mean like Florida Georgia line, because that
like
wasn't
actual country.
Like actual country.
Yeah.
Like Waylon and Haggard and all that stuff. So.
See, that's what I like, and that's what bothers me when people are like, I like country music. I'm like, yes. But
when you say country,
what do you mean?
Yeah. That what's it called? It's like it's its own subgenre now of country. It's like bro country or something. I don't pay attention enough to know the actual term.
It's just twangy pop.
They're pop songs with like a banjo
like a certain,
or
country instrument or they're singing a certain way. But
So I guess you not necessarily picked up an instrument because somebody else in the house had one.
um, well, my brother, even though he was like he wasn't there very much in the house when I was growing up, like later on, but the guitar that I started playing was his. And when I was really little, he would get me to play along with him on like pots and pans, and like I had a tiny little like Fisher Price drum kit that he was showing me beats on. So that's what, like I had that little one. I always wanted to drum. And so I would say that my brother is the biggest influence like early on, and that's what made me want to learn when I grew up. I think he taught me my first drum beat on when I actually got a kit, because I had the drum kit and I don't think I played it really for the first year because I didn't know how to teach
Yes.
myself. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's just in the room with the rest of the stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's, it's kind of there.
Yeah.
So was
once you
drums your
learn,
first instrument?
it was, yeah. Yeah. And I taught myself guitar off of one of those chord posters because I wanted to write music, but I wanted to write to something, because I was like, I can write lyrics, but I want to write songs and I need an instrument that I can do that on. So I had a guitar. And so I just figured that out.
So when you were first learning the instruments, so you were drawn right away to creating your own rather than playing what was on the radio or in the house?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I guess so. I was trying to think of when I started playing. I would listen to songs and just kind of figure them out with like power chords or something. But it was more the idea of learning guitar was to write. So that's what I love. I love playing covers too, but I love originals and just creating something.
Yeah.
It's more special to me.
It means something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's your own voice rather than somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have something to say, you can then, and I guess being a songwriter, that kind of, I mean, I'm not a songwriter. I mean, I tried when I was younger, stupid songs where you kind of take a song that you already know and you change it just a little bit to make it your own. And then you're like, I
Yeah.
wrote a song. And it's like, it's a total ripoff, right? But so
I
that's as
think
far as I got with songwriting.
one of my high school bands, we played Smells Like Teen Spirit, but backwards, just so we could write a song together to have our own song. So it was just like, but we played it backwards. The progression, same rhythm and everything.
Yeah. I mean, Nirvana ripped off that riff anyway. So that's a
even
Boston song.
even the but we did backwards.
Yeah. Okay.
Like all of it. We're like, let's just play it reverse order and make a song.
But you're kids, and that's how you experiment and figure stuff out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that was a learning experience that helped you later on when you're writing your own thing.
Yeah.
Your first band, was that more as a drummer or as a guitar player?
No, I wasn't in a band playing guitar until um 2012 or something, maybe, or 11, because I was drums, and it was a funny switch because I always played drums in bands, and then I started playing guitar here and there, and people were like, oh, you play guitar? So it was more like, oh, you do this. And then as I continued with music, I started playing guitar more, and I didn't have the opportunity to play drums in anything. So then once I like played drums, or I said I play drums, they're like, you play drums. So it's
So
like,
it's the reverse. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, yes, I
Like
do.
so a whole like new musical identity times two.
Yeah.
Like, you get known for one thing and then you switch and then you get known for that. And then it's
Yeah.
now you can do, now people know you. I think people know you as both now.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to do both. Like I mainly want to do drums because that's where the love is, and that's like my main thing. I love writing, but I want to play and sing from the drums.
Right.
And then once I realized that people didn't know I did that, it kind of made me like really sad, because I felt like it's like, well, that's who I am. I didn't
Right.
care that people didn't know I played guitar, because I was like, oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But when people were like, you're not a drummer or you don't play drums, I was like, ow.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Like, oh yes, I do.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so the Kendra Gale Band, because you said 2012 is when you started playing guitar in a band,
I think, or
roughly.
maybe that was closer to when I played with Warren. Well, because the band that I was in before, I was their drummer. And then I started opening the show playing guitar, and we would play some of my songs, and the guitarist would be on the drums. But
They do
then
the swap.
yeah, so that's when I started playing in a band. So maybe it was like 4 years before that, because it wasn't the main thing. It was like we did both.
Right. Do you think
And
people learn to know you as a singer guitarist because of how quickly the Kendra Gale Band kind of, because when you guys landed, you kind
mhm.
of exploded almost,
Well,
at
I
least in
think
the music New Brunswick scene. I think anyway.
well, I didn't do any like ECMA music conference things on drums. It was
Mhm.
just a lot of like local things, but we didn't do any bigger, more known things. I did those on guitar. So then when the musical family, like all over the place, started growing, and that's all they knew of me. So I was like, oh yeah, you guys don't know that. I play drums. I forgot.
Right.
I'm not one of the only two drummers. Like in St. Andrews, there's like two of us.
I mean,
Like,
it's St. Andrews is like a tiny
yeah.
municipal.
So it was
Is it
kind of
a,
like, you play drums, play with us because we need one.
yeah. We need a drum. Can I
Yeah,
borrow
we
it?
need drums.
Yeah. Yeah, because St. Andrews is not a very big place. I mean, it's
Mm-mm.
like, I mean, my wife back in college spent a summer there, scooping ice cream at one of the shops because
Yeah.
her sister was going to school there as a chef. So she went down for the summer, and this was just before I'd met her. So she, you know, fond memories of being in St. Andrews, and I've been there like once or twice, but
Yeah.
not in any like big capacity. Just kind of go visit for the day, and
Yeah.
there's a
And
lot of really nice shops and very
yeah.
like vintage. Like there's like no corporate or any like chain stores at
No,
all.
it's not allowed. I think it took a while for a Tim Hortons to be there.
Oh, there's a
We had
Tim's now.
yeah, we had a Robins for a little bit, but
Yeah.
even that was, I think, weird for the town because we don't have any chains or any big name things. I think it's like probably one of the laws or something.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
not even like a Sobeys or like a
No,
big name grocery store.
no, that you'll have to go like St. Stephen's only like 20 minutes away, and they have like more of them now because they built there's a new gas station and everything. So it's close, but it's not like
Yeah.
you can't walk to it.
Okay. Well, I mean, but that's part of the charm, right? So how's the music scene there? Like, I know you play there quite often.
Mhm. It's really good. Um, it's funny because it's really good. Like it's really welcoming and a lot of music lovers there. But to create a band there was hard because I was in a band with my old high school English teacher. Like when I
Okay.
graduated, like he played music and we always talked about music and stuff. And then once I graduated, he's like, hey, come to the band. And so it was like English teacher and my basketball coach. So it's just like we kind of know each other. Let's be a band. It was like,
Is it
I know
weird
you play
getting to know
drums.
him outside of like the academic world?
I think for just a little bit because he never really put on a like I'm a teacher face and then I'm this other guy. He was just always really real with me. And yeah, so it was just it's funny just to call someone by their first name when you're used to being like, oh, Mr.
Right.
like teacher
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
But no, that was one of my favorite bands. Actually, it was a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, it was kind of like that just happened. It was like, oh, we all know how to play these and just come in and be a part of the band. So it worked out. But there's a limited musicians actually like in town to form full size bands. But I know there's like Chickahominy band, but still a few guys are from like Fredericton and around. Still have to travel. So
Like,
that's hard, but like the Herring always welcomes original music and people coming in, and then there's Paddle Fest. There's a great music community there. Yeah, different sides of it. It's
yeah,
hard.
and because of the art, because like St. Andrews is very big on the arts community,
Yeah.
so they would be more into the whole original music as opposed to the cover band. Like
Hmm.
they come out in droves to see an original act versus
Yeah.
a weekend party band that's just going to play stuff on the radio.
Yeah, for sure. And I was really lucky to grow up in that because I was doing jam nights every Monday, and then I would do a show at the Herring, a matinee show every other Friday. So I was able, like, once I was old enough to be in the bar, I had a job pretty much just playing music. And I was really fortunate for that and got to play with a lot of people because the jam nights, if people just wander through, like, oh, we're playing. And this whole family band came through once, and like a guy brought in a saw, like he was like playing it with a
Yeah,
bow.
yeah.
And there was like a flute, I think. They all played at least four instruments each. And they're like, oh, is there music tonight? And they just came with all these cases. I was like, yeah, okay.
It
It
sure
was
is.
awesome. Yeah.
That's different. That's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. I've got to get back to St. Andrews. It's been a long time. I won't be able to do it too for a little while, obviously, but our son, like my wife spent time there for, like I said, for the summer, and we really want to do that haunted stay at
Um,
the Algonquin.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
No. I know there's like you mean you want to stay like in the bride's room or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know the stories. There's so many ghost stories like everywhere in town.
yeah.
And you could do like I don't know if they still do the ghost walks, but there would be a tour. You can walk around town and they tell you all the stories. You used to be able to stay in the jail, the old jail. And there's
Right.
this few stories there too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we watch a lot of like those old ghost stories and like YouTube, like the true crime and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
because
right
St.
up our
Andrews is
alley.
on a few of those shows.
Yeah,
I know the hotel and the courthouse had a few
yeah.
episodes.
You've been doing the musician thing for a very long time, like pretty much
Mhm.
since you started playing, I think.
Yeah. I
And
thought about it the other day. I think I started like as a career and like knowing that's what I wanted to do. I started when I was 16. That's when I put out my first CD. And I've been doing it for 16 years now.
right, and you're a
Yeah.
full time musician. Like
Yeah.
that's all you do.
That's all I do.
That's all you do, which is liberating, I think. Because I mean, I would love to do that, but I don't have the means to, and nobody
Mhm.
wants to listen to just a solo record of somebody playing the drums. I mean, maybe some drummers would, but
Yeah.
I think they'd pick that apart pretty quick. See that I'm just a farce. But being able to just do that must be very liberating and totally different way of looking at everything going on around you, like as an
Yeah.
artist.
And again, with the St. Andrews, like the shows at the Herring, even when I moved up to Moncton, I got to keep my Friday shows, which is my regular, like it'd be like my regular job.
Hmm.
And without that, I don't think I'd be able to like only play music because you can't be in music, you can't be one thing
Right.
and make enough money to support yourself. So like I want to be on like I want to play drums in a band. I want to do multiple things because I just have so many different ways that I want to play music. So I'm lucky that I can, but also you have to make enough money to only do music. Can't survive just doing one thing because it's just not like that anymore.
It's not, yeah, it's not like you don't get the revenue from like CD sales or anything. Even like
Yeah.
you put it out digitally, you get like nothing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we put out an album last year, and I think on the Bandcamp sales enough to like press CDs, which we're going to be doing soon. So,
Yeah.
and that's basically it. And we're lucky to have that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
or I think we got that money from the Bandcamp sales to buy the T-shirts, which were then able to get us the money to pay
Yeah.
for the CDs. Like,
Yeah. You have to do one
no
thing
profit.
to, yeah. Like we went to Ontario 2 times. I think it was twice. Might have been 3 times. But anyway, it's like we didn't make anything. You just kind of make your gas money and stuff. Like we might have made something, but it wasn't enough to be like, that was amazing. And
Yeah, yeah. You
like
didn't make bank
really,
money.
yeah,
Yeah,
really made us a lot. We're just went just to go pretty much and
yeah,
not lose anything. That was the main goal is to like don't lose money. But
yeah. If you
now
can
we can
break
say we
even,
went there.
yeah. If
Yeah.
you're lucky enough to break even, it's great. Like, and I look at that as just even playing local shows. Like, because for us to play, we're out of town for anything that we do because we don't play in
Yeah.
Miramichi. Like, I don't even remember the last time we played Miramichi. I think it was, I think we opened for Kill Chicago
Hmm.
um, at the Goodie Shop just before it stopped doing those shows.
Hmm.
And I think that was like it was before their second album had come out, so that's at least 3 or 4 years ago,
Yeah.
if not longer. Like, so for us to play, it's we got to drive out of town either to Moncton or
Hmm.
Fredericton, um, St. John, probably in the near future, or Halifax.
Yeah.
So if you're traveling that far, you're not coming back with anything
No.
unless you bring something to sell, right?
Yeah. And if people buy it.
And if people buy it,
Yeah.
right? Which will
Yeah.
basically cover either your hotel or your meal, and then you're
Yep.
still out of pocket, right? So
Yeah. So
it's not
you
the same.
definitely have to love it. That's what, whenever I talk to people, they're like, oh, that you're a full time musician. So you have to love it. I was like, well, yeah.
Yeah,
You can't be in it for the
no.
money.
If you're in it for the
Yeah.
money, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
even if there was money in it, that's still the answer.
Yeah, it still shouldn't be the reason for. You should just, if you love something, you should do it because you love it. You shouldn't do something you love for just for the money, because then you're in the wrong mindset, I think. And you do shows that you like, you don't think about, is this a good show for us, or is this the right fit or something? You're just like, money. It's like,
Yeah.
then you're out of
Yeah.
place and it doesn't work.
So the Kendra Gale Band, you did that not on your own, but like before Warren came into the picture. I know you did the Carousel album by yourself.
Mhm. That one was because it was in between who I was playing with before, and I talked to Chris Copa about doing it while I didn't have anyone playing with me, but I had these songs that I wanted to record. That I wrote all these like a little heavier songs. I was getting into a little bit of a different style.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd like to have them anyway, just to be like, hey, look what I did. And then while I was planning that, and then I met Warren and started playing with them, and then I actually had a band to play these songs with and go do shows and perform them. But before that, it was the guitar player from my band before, because we were a 3-piece, and then the bass player moved to Germany, and we saw Littlefoot Longfoot from Toronto come through, and they were a drums and guitar duo. And I just like, I think that's when Keith, our drummer, was moving away, and I saw them play, and I was like, we can do that. Right. Like that, we can still play. We can do this. And so we did. And there was really no, it just kind of, everything happened. It wasn't planned in my head. It's like, I want to do what I'm doing. It just kind of, I fell into all of it. Yeah. Like, luckily, like I've done really great things and I've had so much fun, but it wasn't my goal when I was like in my parents' house, like learning guitar. I was like, I want to be like a front man of a band. I was just like, I want to write songs. And then that just kind of like stumbled into other things.
Right.
And the guitar player was like, I want to play drums one practice. And then all of a sudden I was up front. And then he was like, I'm not playing guitar anymore. I was like, okay, I guess
you got this. You go ahead.
Yeah, it's like everything just kind of. So we wrote these songs. We did a CD together that we just did in his basement in like a room smaller than this. And yeah, and then he didn't want to play anymore, but I had these songs. So then I did the CD with Chris, and then met Warren. Then I was like, oh, I can perform these songs. And then it just kept continuing. And then we did a whole album and still going.
So you'd met Warren prior to recording the album?
Yeah, but it was already decided that it was going to be recorded, and we were just started playing together. Right. I think, or I think it was in the year that we met and started playing together is when I recorded it.
Okay. So yeah, rather than learning the songs to record them, just let you do your thing and then play them live together.
Yeah, I think it's because we already, like me and Chris already talked about how we were going to do the CD, and it was already like decided. And he only had like, because he's so busy, or he was at the time, so he only had like this amount of time to do it, like every now and then. So I went
just
up.
Made sense.
Yeah, he's like, can you come up and do the guitar track? So I just like go up and do them, and then he could do drums and bass and everything when he could.
Right.
So it was more of a, I can only fit this in this time. And then people being like, you have to release the CD so we can like apply for this and apply for that. I'm like, okay.
The whole business side of it.
Yeah. So it was mostly just we can do this, but in this time and with this arrangement. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, because you got some nominations for that.
Yeah. I think it was blues.
Yeah, was it Music New Brunswick and ECMA's both?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we did. I'm pretty, for that one. I think for the other one too, maybe the last two before that, we got both Music New Brunswick and ECMA nominations. Okay. Yeah. It's
hard, right? You just can't remember them all.
I know. Just so many nominations.
So many nominations.
Look at my wall of nominations.
Yeah. Because the each album, as any artist, like each album has a progression from one sound to the next and then Carousel came, like you said, you're doing heavier songs, and then between Carousel and Kicking and Screaming, that's when the whole Warren dynamic, and that just kind of, to me, it was like fireworks, like your chemistry with him and the way you guys play off of each other, even like not just on the musical aspect, but on stage,
Yeah.
like there's just this chemistry that you can't make it up. Like either it's there or it's not. And
Yeah.
it's watching you guys play together is just I'm laughing
Yeah.
and smiling the whole time because it's
Yeah,
just
we
a
have
really
fun.
good time. And you guys
Yeah.
have fun and you can see that when you're playing together.
Yeah.
And I find when I'm listening to the CD, um, because I have the CD and I have it on my Spotify saved because it's always there. It's in regular rotation. Just because of that dynamic, like I can hear it in the album as much as I can hear it when you're playing live.
Yeah.
So how was that recording process with him when you guys did that
We
album?
we weren't sure how we wanted to record it because I think at that time Warren said he had one recording experience. So he didn't really know, like we didn't know how to go into the studio with it. And I've done different kind of recording. I would do the scratch track, just like guitar and vocals, and then build on that. That's how the usual plan was. Except for, well, no, it's the same with Chris, but I wasn't there for the whole process because he did his parts and
Right.
then
He could
I
take
did
it away.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this one, we went in and I was in a little box, like a vocal booth with my guitar, and I could see Warren in the other room. And we just like started playing to kind of figure out what we wanted to do. And I think they recorded it, us just like rehearsing a song, trying to get the sounds. And we just all decided, like, why don't we just record it this way? Like, just let's just play and record it. And we just ended up doing that. So the main vocals, guitar, and drums are all just live. Like we played
Really?
it together, and that was recorded. And then if a little bit of extra vocals were
Yeah.
added,
Yeah.
and I think
Overdubs are always, yeah.
yeah, but not very many. We tried to overdub one guitar mistake, and you could feel the difference of me
Okay.
jumping in than the one when I was just playing it.
Right.
It just had a whole different feel, and you could tell that it was cut in.
So did
It
you
was
keep it or just throw it away?
no, we just played the song again and
Okay.
recorded it
Just did
again.
it over. Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, no, you can tell that that's me at a different time. It's
Right.
very obvious. Yeah, and
So the
that's why.
album is basically off the floor.
Yeah, and there's mistakes in it. You can hear like guitar, like string buzzing, or I'm hitting wrong things or whatever, because I wanted that the feeling of when I play.
Mm-hmm.
When I recorded Carousel, it was very like hit that string, like get those notes out, which it sounded good, but that's not how I play.
Right.
I'm like playing like all the strings. You shouldn't, but I was just like playing things that just making noise. And I was like, I want the noise, not like a messy sound, but I want
A real sound.
what we sound like. Yeah.
Yeah. Like an accurate representation. Like if somebody goes to see you live,
Yeah.
that's what they hear, which it worked because that's when I'm listening to the album. That's what I picture in my
Yeah.
head. I'm watching you guys or I'm listening to you guys playing a live performance.
Yeah. And there's one song that speeds up a lot, but that's how we play it. So we just slowly build and like get faster as the song goes. And then at the end, we like slow down again.
Okay.
I'm like, but that, because I think we didn't know until that's probably the song that I cut into to do a part, because it was like, what speed is it? And then we were like counting the speed, and I was like, that's a lot faster. I was like, that's how we play it.
That's how we play it anyway.
Yeah, I think it's
So there's no click track or anything. It was just
no,
go by feel.
yeah, I don't think we had click track for anything. Yeah, we just, because we could see each other, so if there was any pauses or anything in the songs, we can feel it anyway. But
Yeah.
we're looking right at each other.
So visual cue. That
Yeah.
I would love to record an album that way.
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds so like liberating and just like real, like natural.
Yeah. And if you're not worried about like little mistakes, I like having them there. Like in what what's the name of my song? Never Be Mine. I think the one that I like, there's clapping at the beginning.
Yeah.
You can hear my slide hitting the neck of the guitar because it's being picked up from my vocal mic. So you can hear like me playing, but you can also hear like
right.
me playing. And like that's part of it.
Yeah. That's part of it. I mean, if you go back and listen to like old recordings from like Led Zeppelin, like John Bonham's drum tracks, you can hear him yelling and talking as he's playing. And he's like,
yeah,
that's, or the pedal squeaks.
Mm-hmm.
And, but those old recordings have that because of the mic bleeds and stuff, and the technology wasn't there to like they didn't have all the gates and stuff that they have now to stop that. Like I think that's a problem with music today. And coming back to that bro country or whatever, like
Yeah.
it's overproduced and you can totally hear it.
Hmm.
And I think we should go back to those old recording techniques.
Yeah, because I enjoy those sounds more too, even if it's produced, but you can tell that it's, like I said, I like the no, not noise, not messy. I like noisy, but not messy, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. Like I like
it's
it
not
to
just
not
empty.
sound,
Yeah,
yeah, not sound robotic.
because you don't play, like I don't go and watch a show with a bunch of robots on stage. Like it's people, and that's what
And
makes music. That's the
and
creative aspect.
you can tell when there's a band that's trying to be way too perfect and someone makes one mistake, and how all of them like just like stop and be
Yeah,
like I don't like that. It makes me uncomfortable to watch. It's like whatever, so that you
just
hit a
laugh it
wrong
off.
string. Yeah.
Like I'll laugh it off.
Yeah, that's
That'd
what
be
I like, hit wrong things all the time. Just that's why we're laughing all the time. I'm like, whoops.
no,
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. That's part of why I like watching you guys play. It's very refreshing because, like you said, there's a lot of bands that it's, somebody hits a wrong note or they come in like a split second too early. It's,
Yeah.
the end of the world. It's not. It's music. It's entertainment, and it's
Yeah. It's
supposed to be
supposed to be
fun.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, being a songwriter, um, who were some of the early influences that you had, like that kind of come at you?
Well, because I started when I was 12. My I think one of the moments when I was like, oh, I can write songs. I was listening to Avril Lavigne was one of my favorites, and Fifi Dobson.
I love
And
Fifi
I
Dobson.
Yeah. So I was listening to their songs, and there was one Avril song that the words were just so simple. Like I thought they were just so simple. It's like, oh, she's just like saying her feelings. I can do that. Just like so I just like it's like that
I
sounds
could do
easy
that.
enough. And yeah. But that's why I was just listening to them, and then just something clicked. I was like, I could I feel things.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
I
emotions.
have feelings. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just felt possible. Like it's like, oh, I want to try that. So those were the main people that I listened to when I just started writing. And I remember Green Day was one of the first songs that I learned. Was it Brain Stew? Was
Okay.
like one of the first
Yeah.
listening and just figuring it out songs.
Yeah. Well, there's a
When I
lot of
was like,
space in that song, right? So you
yeah,
can really, yeah.
because I would just
You-
listen to songs and like go around the guitar. I'm like, that's not it. That's not it. That's it.
That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
go back. What's the next? What's the next one? So that's how I would learn a lot of the songs.
On cassette, obviously, because you just did the motion for rewinding the cassette there.
Or it's like a
I mean,
Discman too.
or or like Sony. Everybody had the Sony Discman,
Yeah.
the yellow thing with the clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's not supposed to skip.
We had a blue one. Yeah, it's not
Ah,
supposed to skip.
yeah, the blue one. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I wore those things out. And the cassette player version of it, the Sony Sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so okay, Avril Lavigne, Fifi
Yeah.
Dobson. And as far as like singer songwriter side of it, like when you sit down to write a song, do you already have like a topic or something that you want to say and get off your chest, or do you just sort of sit and just whatever comes out?
It's I feel like it's been different moments doing it different ways, because I've had either one specific thing I want to write about, and I sit down and I know maybe the chorus comes out first. The chorus would usually come out uh when I would start writing songs. It doesn't really do that so much anymore. I just try to write um just what comes to me. But sometimes I'll have a topic, usually when I have like this more sillier songs, like the zombie song, uh, or I have a song about skunks, one about ladybugs. Like I'm just like, I want to do that. And that's usually when I have a specific idea. If it's more about like feelings or something, I'm just trying to find the right words and simplify the words. I have a hard time now trying to say too much in songs. It's like, just be simple and write down just one of those thoughts, but I'll write like just everything. It'll just all come out. I'm like, nah, that's just a messy song. Just
Do you
like,
think that's because given the current climate, you have a lot more to say?
um, I'm not sure. I think it's just my brain is just, it thinks a lot of things all at once. but they all go together, and it's like it'll be about a certain situation or it's like one thing, but you can come at it in so many different ways. And I'm just trying to do all of that at once. Just like try to pick one part of that and sing about that. So I stopped writing when the pandemic happened. I had half written songs that I finished, but nothing really new came out. And then I just stopped writing completely. And I was just playing those new ones and just playing cover songs. But I started writing last month, started writing again.
Okay.
And things are coming out a little easier. I was writing just like nonsense, like things like, I can't write. I don't know what to just to write words and like maybe something will happen.
Something
I don't
comes out
know.
of that.
Yeah.
Something always comes out of something. Right?
It's like just write words or something, just get the motion going.
Is that something that you try to bring to those songwriting camps? Like, or is it more songwriting or is it instrument, like learning instruments, or is it both?
It's all of it. There's one camp that's different. I do one in Perth Andover with Terry Whalen and Dan Doiron.
Dan Doiron, yeah.
Yes. French names.
Le français, oui, oui.
And I'm just like, Doiron?
Doiron?
Yeah. But yeah,
Terry Dan Doiron and get a poutine.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
So the three of us we do a camp with like boys and girls, and we don't really have a schedule or really a set plan. We just kind of figure it out as we're about to jump into it each year, because it would have been our third year doing it this year, but not enough kids signed up. I don't think it's happening this time around, but that one's a little different than the other ones I do. The other ones are Girls Plus Rock Camp. So it's trying to create just a safer space if you don't feel comfortable in the everyone's welcome. Like everyone's welcome in this one too, but just like here's a rock camp. What most young girls see is like, well, here's a rock camp. It's going to be mostly boys. They're not going to want to play with you. Because I was the only girl in a rock camp when I was in grade 8, but I went with a band. Okay. Like, so there was a band I was in high school, but like no one hung out with me. Like I went with the band, but it was like me kind of, hey, and then all the boys just doing their own thing. So I completely understand what they're trying to create. I would have loved a camp like that. Just like, oh, it's mostly girls or people that don't feel like they fit in at the other ones. Right. I'm just trying to make a safer, more comfortable space. And we teach them their instrument. There's instrument classes. There's like merch making. We get them to make a band name. We separate them into bands, and they make pins and they make shirts. Like we teach them screen printing. And then there's like different workshops. So like songwriting, guitar, drums, we split them all off and then get them to write 1 or 2 songs and just make little bands and show them the whole experience of like every step of it, which I really love. And then we'll have two people to a band. So like 2 mentors in the room. So you help them with the bass while I go over here and help them with this. And then like create your song, guys. You have the lyrics, and just try to aim them, like steer them in the right direction.
Yeah. So not like tell them what to play, but just sort of help them play what they're playing better.
Yeah. And like focus and create something together and learn how to work through the rough spots, like the arguments that happen, or it always seems to happen that it'll be great at the beginning, and then in the middle of the week, maybe someone's rubbing someone the wrong way, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't want them in the band, or like I'm not playing, and it's like, okay, I don't.
So they get the whole life cycle of a band. Whole thing. Yeah.
Then they make up, and then the show happens, and it's great.
That's the best thing ever, and then they're gonna take over the world.
Yeah.
So do they?
Love that.
I'm guessing these connections that they make, they probably, hopefully, I guess the goal would be that they take it from there outside of the camp and keep going.
Yeah. We hope that they will go and like continue. Some of the bands maybe like stay together or something. It hasn't really happened yet. There was one band of girls that really loved the camp, and they wanted to continue playing together. So if there was an opportunity, we'd be like, do you guys want to play together at this thing? And they're like, yeah. So they did Mud City downtown 2 years, well, not last year, but 2 years ago, I think. Yeah. So they got to play like.
What's the age range for the people that are in the camp?
It is, probably going to get it wrong, I want to say it's like 10 to 17, 16.
Okay.
It used to be the first one that I did was like a lot younger. I think it was 7 was the starting age, but then you get like really young kids with like teenagers, and
so it's not like they can come out of the camp and like go play at
yeah.
the
So they
Cavo
try
or
no.
Poughkeepsie News or any,
Yeah.
they can't go out and start playing bars.
No.
At least not
No.
anymore. Maybe like back in the early 80s, they might have let them, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they can't just go. They'll have to stick with it and before they can, but
yeah.
that's the hope for it.
But like that's what you want. Because I mean, schools totally dropped the ball on fostering any type of music program,
Mm.
all the budget cuts and everything like that. Like I know um, Dylan Ryan's teaching over at one of the local schools, and he does like a music workshop and does like helps them with a song, and he put out some videos with them, like with each of the students that he's worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but outside of that, I haven't heard any other school that really brings out any type of music program to
No.
get the youth involved. I mean, it's bad enough that, most of the time they don't socialize like in person, let
Yeah.
alone get together and play music.
Yeah. We were in the Moncton camp. We were doing like weekly jam sessions too.
Mhm.
So we'd have like a round of, I think it was a month. It would be 2 bands and just get them together once a week to learn a cover song or write a song if they wanted to. And then by the end of the month, we'd do like a little music video for them. So they'd still like have a chance to get together and continue, not just in the summer, but
Right.
like you guys can do this, like get together and play music. And
Yeah.
this is how you learn a song that's already a song.
And it builds that community, like you say,
And
especially with girls, because they got to stick together.
yeah.
I mean, as a white man, I you know I I don't notice the privilege that I have, but I know it's there.
Yeah.
I know it's not the same thing for another minority or even like a woman. Like
Hmm.
it's such a different world and environment. Like
Yeah.
how many like you've been doing the music thing for a long time. You must have seen a lot of bullshit like in going to clubs and
Yeah.
whether it's something that's said, a look or a comment,
Hmm.
those are things that thankfully it's taking a turn for the
Yeah.
better, but there's still so much road that we have to go down before it
Yeah.
becomes,
Like I've heard doing these camps because it's girls plus. So it
okay.
is just like boys can be in it if that's where they feel comfortable. Like
Mhm.
it is welcome to everybody, but that's like the main focus are the ones that don't feel like being in the other, like they feel out of place.
Mhm.
They want a safer spot. But I've gotten oh, it's a girls' camp. So like, what if there was a boys' camp? I bet there would be a problem with that happening. Like the normal rock camps are boys' camps. They're not
Right.
they're not advertised that way or meant to be, but that's like the majority of there, and there are girls in them
Yeah.
and they can,
Yeah.
but
Well, it's like when you went, when you were, like you said, you were like the one
yeah.
girl there and you felt really welcome, obviously.
Yeah. Like it was still a good time, but I know I didn't get the same experience that like the boys did because I didn't make any new friends. I just hung out with the band that I went there with, and I felt I was a female drummer with pink hair. I was the
Nice.
only one there. I'm like
Yeah. Right.
very out of
Girls
place. And
can't
if,
play drums. Like,
yeah, no, I've gotten that a few times, or just yeah, just the looks. I know when I walk in like with a guitar or something, I see certain looks and I know what they're expecting. But what I love is then I get up there and I start screaming or something, and then I get a different look. And I don't care what kind of like either like oh, I
yeah.
wasn't expecting that in a good way, or I don't like that. I like both of those.
I
It's
don't
like at
like
least it wasn't what you what you thought it was.
could you play like something softer?
Yeah. Play a little quieter.
Just a little quieter.
Yeah. My favorite thing about that show was that the band before us was so loud and there was no comments to them.
I think that was us.
No, it was there was a band in between us.
Was there?
Yeah, because I don't remember who they were, but like I just remembered like the guitar player had a lot of pedals and he was like, unless he was before you guys. It was like a really close to us
Yeah.
band. And I just remember them being it was another 2-piece. I was like, yeah. And then I got up, and one lady, nope. I don't like that coming from you. I was like, okay.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I find it really hard to believe that people look at a woman coming in that's playing music and still give like the side eye when you look at the history of women in music.
Yeah.
Like
I've gotten before, like one of my herring matinee shows, I've walked in with a guitar and I was setting up. I had the guitar in my hands, I was setting up, obviously alone. And an older lady says to me, "Oh, are you playing? Is there a man coming to accompany you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna figure this out myself."
Thought
don't
I'd
know
learn
what it is, but
I don't know what I'm doing.
And she didn't stay, but
She
but yeah,
didn't
she's
like
like,
that.
those were the words, like, is a man coming to accompany you? I was like, why why specifically that? Like, not just is anyone coming, just
right. Is a man
is someone
coming?
gonna come help you with that?
Wow. Are you sure you can pick up the guitar, sweetie?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
oh my
like the
God,
attitude, and that was only just a couple of years ago. I was like, wow,
that's
you
crazy.
don't have to stay for the show.
In
That's
fact,
fine.
I'd rather you left.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very strange.
I've heard a little bird told me that when you're performing, just going back to the whole screaming thing that you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
that you can get on stage with no in-ears, no monitors, just plug in and sing into the mic and nail it every time.
But I don't like hearing myself. I tell the sound every time when we're doing a sound check or something. I'll tell the guy at the board, or lady, tell the sound person, if I'm backing away from the mic too much. If you want me to get closer to it, just turn down my monitors, because that's why I'm backing away. I won't do it consciously, like won't be like, oh, that's too loud, I'm backing. I'll just, because I don't like hearing it, so I'll back away.
But as a vocalist, I know, like, I've done some terrible backing vocals, but I know if I can't hear myself, I'm not in key, I'm not in
Yeah,
pitch, I'm like nowhere near where I should be. How do you do that? Like, how is that even a thing?
I don't
You don't
I
know?
just know I don't like hearing me. So there has been shows that I don't have a monitor at all. If, like, maybe we just couldn't have one, or I just wanted it turned down so much, or they wanted me so close to the mic that they're just like, okay, I'll just turn it off. Maybe she'll get closer. Like, but yeah, it's hard because I'll sing loud, but then I'll speak really softly. So
Yeah.
they'll turn up the mic for my speaking, and then it'll be super loud. So then I'll sing way over here. They're like, oh, that's not good.
Well, you can edit, you can self-edit that way.
Yeah, because I won't think while I'm playing, oh, I'm too far from the mic. People will just be like, get closer. I'm like, well, if you want me to, that's like a trick for me to just do it without thinking about it. Because then I'll just be I'll overthink it and just try to get too close to the mic. And that's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about the music anymore. Just get close to the mic. So it's just like a little trick that I found for myself to tell them. They're like, oh, that's really helpful. Thanks. Well, I just know what I'll do if it's too loud.
Yeah. So do you have any, because you played drums in 2 different bands, correct?
Well, I don't know how many bands after everyone can get back together, how many
Right.
I will be
Okay,
in, but
pre-pandemic.
yeah, I was in 3. I was in a cover band up here, Hone the Craft. I started playing with them, and then I was Galpines and the Fiery.
Okay. Yeah. And do you have any new music behind the kit coming out?
Yeah, we're with the Fiery. One member's having some, like, just some things in her life that she has to figure out, like get some stuff on the right track. Yep. And a few others just want to take a little breather, and we're all super supportive of each other, and that's absolutely obviously fine. Like, we want to see each other too, so we'll like see each other here and there. And me and Mandy still play. We have a cover duo that we started because we're like that, like I was gonna say conventions, that's not right, like work meetings and like little parties and stuff that you want fun cover stuff in the background, or like we're playing a mountain bike, like a female mountain bike weekend at Polly Mountain, and that's just like the kind of thing that's good for like those situations. So we're
background, like, kind of,
like, since we play so well together and we hang out anyway, and Like I can just throw anything at Mandy and she'll be like, yep, I'll play it. And she'll just watch and pick it up. So I was like, let's just play some cover songs together and like kind of like that's like a more money making
Yes.
arrangement, like because cover band, but
Cover
still it's a
bands
lot
make
of
cover bands make money.
yeah. So I was like, but still it's a lot of fun and we don't play songs we don't want to play.
Yeah.
With just the ones that we want to. So yeah, have that with Mandy. So I see her more often than the other girls, but it's still we want to play and create more music, and we were starting to do a few new songs. So we just have to get back together and get those figured out and start playing again.
Yeah.
But just because like you're not playing now doesn't mean you won't later. We all
Later,
know
yeah.
that we want to, and that's the main point.
And you've got like so many different hats and projects and stuff that you're doing. So it's just a matter of, managing when you're available to do certain things because you have other
Yeah.
commitments and all that. Yeah.
And especially not like not every situation that comes my way fits everything that I do. Like if someone's like, hey, do you want to play an acoustic show? I'm not going to be like, well, can the Fiery play it instead? Because that's a completely different
that's a rock
mood
band.
and
That's a full rock band experience versus
yeah. So I'm lucky that I can like I know what I play in and what will fit certain situations or with what bands, because we've played with just mix match situations. A lot of times we'd have like an acoustic person like singing little whispery songs, and me and Warren will get up there. I'm like, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because the people that were here for that, they might like this, but it doesn't go together. It's very strange. So it's nice to be able to be like different variations.
Have a diverse what's the word? A diverse portfolio.
Yes.
It's a fancy word. It's like a pinky out kind of. So with Warren and the KGB, you have a couple of new songs that you've performed recently at well, at least in shows that you've been playing recently. But I haven't gotten to see you guys in person, but I did get to watch the SSI show.
I was happy we got to do that because a lot of original band shows aren't really popping up on the opportunities yet, but I know they will. And a lot of places are focusing on their own local talent. Like Fredericton has so many bands there, and the Capitol's doing a lot, but I see a lot of Fredericton bands playing there, which is awesome because that should be their first thing. And like Area 506 has a lot of St. John bands, which is awesome. They wanted the opportunity to be like, well, let's get our city together. Yeah. Moncton's not doing a whole lot that I know of, but original louder bands don't have too many opportunities, or we don't right now anyway, but I know they'll be coming back.
Well, I think that's part and parcel to like the venues that are opening up to have live entertainment are not at the capacity level to have the big bands with the big crowds yet, or at least, I mean, with the vaccinations and moving into phase green, like the next phase, I think is supposed to kick in a week or so from when we're recording this. And it's like everything's wide open again.
Yeah.
Per what the government says. But people are still going to be very hesitant to come out,
Yeah. And I'm one of those people that like, I'm excited for it. I'm in no rush because like some people are, as soon as anything's slightly open, it's like, oh, I can do everything. I want to do everything that I can get my hands on. And I'm fine with taking it slow because I know we'll get there. I'm not going to race towards it. It's just like,
you don't need to be the first one out of the gate.
No, just be thankful for like what does actually happen when the time comes. Like you book something and it's hard booking shows, and it's like, is it going to happen by the time we get to that date for the show?
Right. Or is it going to get canceled?
Yeah.
Because we've all had canceled shows because of all this.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, there's some people that just want to jump right away, and I'm like, I'm all right. Because I know it will happen.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Like you say, you're starting to write songs again. Are you writing more for the acoustic type stuff, or are you writing more like the Kendra Gale stuff, the Kendra Gale Band stuff?
And that's one thing that I was doing with my writing, because I used to just write with no
Yeah.
plan on how I'm going to, if I'm going to perform them or how I'm going to perform them. And I kind of lost that ability because I was trying to write for, like, I'd be like trying to write for the Kendra Gale Band. And that really, like, my creativity went from like everything to just like, okay, you have to write this, which I still wrote some songs. But when I sat down, I just felt like, I don't like that because that's not going to work for us. Or so I'm trying to just write, and whatever comes out, I might use it, I might not.
Write it first and then figure out where it goes later.
Yeah, because that's how I used to. When I started writing, I would just write, and I wrote a lot. So I think it's helped just writing down words. Even there's no music to them yet, but at least just writing, it's helped when I gave myself that freedom of just write. Don't try to make it fit anything. Just however it comes out, then that will be the way it goes.
Yeah. Like how many new songs do you have that you're sitting on, like for Kendra Gale Band, that would be in the next album?
I think we said I think we have 10. We have enough to record, but then like money to record, and just all the other details are a whole other thing. Yeah. But we do have enough right now. And I think that's also that helped me not worry about writing for us, because we have enough to do something with. I'm like, okay, that's good. That just right.
Okay, because
and it might come out with 10, more, but
you have roughly 10 songs. But like, if I'm not mistaken, the Kicking and Screaming had like 19 songs, 18. How many songs were on that? There's a lot of songs on that.
I forget.
Try not to look up my phone.
I know the other ones were like 11, and I was like, that's little, because I feel like some of the songs are really small. I feel like some of the songs are really short too. Yeah. And also, I don't know if that was the plan when we recorded Kicking and Screaming. I think usually what I would do is record more songs than we're ending up on all the albums.
Right.
There'd be at least 2 songs that were left out, but we just kept all these. Like, let's just put them all in there. It was kind of a we were told, or I was always told, to do things certain ways. Like, you should release CD at a certain time, because then you're able to go for awards and just all this stuff. And it's like, I just want to do this one when we want to, how we want to. It's like, this is how many songs are going to be on it, because we love all of them. Why do we need to cut any?
Yeah. Like there's that whole record 15 songs and release 11 of them. So then you have 4 that you can put out as whatever else, or put on a compilation, or that old. Yeah. I know, like for us, we did, there's 10 songs on the album. We recorded 11, and recorded 12. One was a cover, which we didn't do anything with. The other original song that we recorded but then cut, we cut it because it didn't sound right. And then for us to redo it, we'd have to like set everything back up again. So we're just like, you know what?
Yeah.
We don't need it. And we kind of took it out of our live set anyway. So we're just like, we're not playing it, so why put it on the album? So
yeah, and that's with Kicking and Screaming. We loved everything that we did, and we played. We don't so much anymore. Some of them we don't really play, but we were playing all of the songs. It's like, there's no reason why we can't keep all of them.
Yeah.
I think we should just put them all on there.
Yeah. So no real time frame as to when the next album will come out, just that it's in development.
I know we've talked about recording, because I brought that up. I was like, well, we don't really have a lot of shows, or really too many opportunities right now, but we do have songs. We can think about recording and just having something. Like, we can create something, even if you're not playing a show. There's other ways to do things. Like we recorded a video together from our different locations.
Yeah.
Because I was like, let's just at least put something out for people to see and listen to. There's different creative ways you can do music now.
Yeah. And that's like, a lot of people are realizing that now amidst the pandemic, and coming out of it now, they're realizing that they don't have to do everything the way it was before. Like there's the new normal, but then there's also the new, right?
Yeah. And that's more the direction that I know not everybody could take the time and actually enjoy it. It sounds weird to say, but like the the lockdowns and isolations and stuff, I took I did take a break from just any music for, I think it was 2 months, because I was doing the Facebook lives.
Yeah.
Then I stopped doing that, I think September, October. And I just didn't really do any. I think the Fiery played one show, but that was it. That was it. I wasn't creating anything. But then I started doing Twitch streams, and that's a whole new world.
Yeah.
And that sparked a whole new life to like the acoustic stuff that I do, and just writing. It brought that love back. I realized that I was kind of falling out of love with playing guitar, and just that I was kind of in autopilot instead of just enjoying what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so I took that time to be like, oh, like this is what it feels like to love it. Again, kind of like when you like learn your instrument and you're just getting into music, and that love of like hearing music, like I want to play that, and like everything's making you excited. And I was feeling that again. I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is fun. And so now I'm like coming back into it. I don't want it to be what it was, because I saw a lot of negativity with music, or just how people saw music, or what their expectations were out of it.
Yeah.
Like some friends, you'd be like, oh, that show was awesome, or like something that they did, and you're just like, oh, that was great. They're like, It's like, well, why why are you doing it? Or they're not as successful in their mind as they wanted to, so then they're just really negative about it. Or like, again, it's like, if you're not loving it, you can do other things, or like recreate something. I just want to see more people reinvent and recreate different ways, and not just be sitting there waiting for everything to come back. That makes me sad, seeing people just like, is it back yet? Is it back? Just kind of like, do something. Do something about it.
Yeah. And then not in every case, but in a lot of cases, those people are also the ones that are not doing anything to make it better or bring it
exactly
better. Right?
Yeah, like there's things that you can do. You might have to be more creative than you want to be or that you ever have been.
You have to put more effort into something, maybe.
Yeah, but if you love it, it's possible, and you can do it. And like I just want to see more, like maybe some more venues that actually, and I know people do love music, but you can tell when you're at a venue and their priority isn't the music. They don't really care.
The music is a means to sell liquor.
Yeah. It's like, there's a band.
Yeah. I don't know who's playing.
They're over there. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want.
There's a band. I don't know who they are. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, who's playing it? Because I see with this, like the acoustic shows anyway, you get a lot more people there that are there because they missed music. You'll still get the people there that don't care and they're just out to drink, but it's not like, oh, I'm just here drinking. Oh, hey, there's a band. There's a band. I'm going out. Yeah, maybe I'll have some drinks. Like the main focus is the music. So you see people actually like sitting and listening and watching, and that's exciting, because I feel like it was more, oh yeah, and you're also here, and that's cool. It's kind of a side, like an extra thought. Yeah.
All right. So you're on Twitch.
Yes.
I'll put some links into the video stuff so people can find you. You're on the Instagrams and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you got coming up next as far as music projects. I'm a big fan, so I can't wait to see all that.
Well, thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for doing this. I know it was a lot of back and forth scheduling and all that stuff.
I know.
But it's here nor there. I'd like to have you back on sometime if
yeah,
you're willing.
for sure.
Cool.
There'll be a lot more free time, especially when it gets colder. People can't do outside shows anymore. Outside. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, and say hi to Tammy for me.
I will.
Right on. Thanks. All right. That was my conversation with Kendra. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed having the conversation with her. She's a super, super talented person. If you ever get the chance to see her live, do yourself the favor, buy the ticket. Her voice will literally knock you on your ass. So I do wish her all the best. I can't wait to see her again. I can't wait to catch one of her shows, or, share a stage as we have many times before. So yeah, I don't want to keep you any longer. The episode was a little over the hour. So until the next time, stay safe and look out for each other. And I'll see you around. Ciao.